Hello and welcome. Let's get on with it.
This is the scene which is entirely created in Blender, and in this tutorial we are going to cover it. Now, Blender has two add-ons which are related to the architecture or interior designing. It helps in it. Both of them needs to be activated. The first one is ArchiMesh, the other one is ArchiPack. ArchiMesh is straight away, just by ticking that box, is going to activate the add-on. For ArchiPack, we have to tick the box as well as render preset thumbs. Now what this does is basically it renders out the thumbnails for the assets which we can import in our scene, which are doors, windows, fences, and so on. Of course, they also have bookshelves, lamps, lights, staircases. Let it render out. It is going to take maybe 3 to 4 minutes depending on your computer, and once it's done, it will not be required to do it the second time. You can straight away open up a file in Blender and start adding it. Now straight away, first we will be testing ArchiPack, and ArchiMesh as well we'll be covering, so you can decide which one do you want to go for. So ArchiPack, straight away creating the wall, and you can see the thickness, which is this, the length and the height. Of course, these are all in meters, and we'll also be showing it to you how you can change the units. For now, let me change this to 8 meters of length, and let me change the thickness to 0.15 meters. Another wall as simple as that, 7 meters, or shall I reduce this to maybe 6 meters? I think I might reduce it to 6 meters, yes. So once that is done, yes, now I'm going to add the third wall, 8 meters, and add in the last wall, and it's going to join automatically from the starting point. Now you can see all these readings are coming in meters and degrees. If you want to change the units, you can come here and under the units tab, imperial. Now you can see it's been changed. Even the grid line has changed, updated itself actually. I preferred the metric, but you see even the readings changed to feet. Now I'll be sticking to meters, and so we have our basic wall structure. Now let's go on and try the ArchiMesh. Similar, let's build in a room. The good thing about ArchiMesh is I like the skirting that gets automatically displayed. Now we go with the, this is where we'll be controlling the height and the parameters. So 2.7 meters, the thickness of the wall to be about 0.15 meters, and you can see now we have something like a wall. Maybe we can stick to 0 for now, just for example purposes. Now the length to be 8 meters, because of course we're making the same room as previously. Now with this we have to click on the advanced, and the degrees angle we have to change. Instead of 90, we have to write -90 to cover up in the opposite direction. At times you have to change this with the advanced settings. 6 meters, add in another wall. It's going in the wrong direction again. Advanced settings, 0, opposite is 180 degrees. That's good enough. Now 8 meters, and I am going to close this. By just clicking that box, it is automatically going to close all the walls. Now you see this beautiful skirting that comes in. Now this is how we can add in the floor straight away just by click of a button. Let's go back into create. Of course we need to select the walls if we need to get back into these parameters. Now let's add in the thickness, and it basically, you see the skirting goes away, because this is the baseboard. Here we can change it to 0.15 or 17 meters. You start to see it slightly, which is I believe more than enough. You see, this is how it's working to automatically build that skirting. Now you can increase it to 0.2 meters, which will be more evident. So we're going to stick to this, and let's add in a plane, not a plane actually. See all of these, we can add all of these into our scenes. Let's add in some books. I think only one of them got selected, so pretty low poly actually. It's just a cuboid, as to say. And let's add in a lamp, which I will be actually using to import in my scenes. I think only the shade is selected. Let me select the entire lamp, and it's a pretty decent low poly because we want to build a scene which is not too heavy for our system. Therefore, these are the lamps that I'll be using. Now, append is the option because all the assets which I'll be linking in the description, you can import it through the append function from the file. Now, this is the base mesh of a male, which will help us in the right scaling of the furniture as well as the walls and everything, the doors, when you'll be doing that as well. So always it's good to have a perspective. Now, these are the other two books. So you can see they're fairly low poly, but let's just delete them for now. We don't need them even for example. Lamp is enough. Now this man will be using it as a reference. Let me show you what other assets we are going to be building in. One of them is, both of these are the two files which are going to be in the link in the description. And let me take you to the scene that's already been created using all the free assets from those two scenes. That's the same for these are the frames, and I've slightly changed. You know what, let's bring in all the assets so that you will be more familiarized with the steps that I've already taken. Now let's go in straight into this one, and I believe the plant was one of these. I think there will be 3 of them. Yes. Now we'll only be using the center one, which we use for our scene. We'll delete these 2 away. We will scale it down because it's too large in comparison to our man here. Roughly the size, maybe a little bit bigger. Of course, all to your liking. Now let's bring in assets from the bed, which is basically the bedroom set, which is going to select all of these from here till here. So that's basically the entire bedroom set with the of course you won't get these 2 cupboards, which aren't actually cupboards, they're side drawers, which I will show it to you how I model these. Now this is the scene that you will get. All of this, which I'm selecting right now, these are the assets you will get straight away in the scene. These closets you won't be getting because this is what I've actually just scaled it up, and you can see I've left the feet of the closet still, but of course you can delete these off. The good part about this asset is you can actually change the mesh. You can change their colors, you can change the dimensions, and you can even edit their textures. That's the best part. Now I'm doing a circle select and circle deselect with the mouse and the cursor. Of course, this is how you can delete that off, which you should actually. You don't want to leave that on, and if you do, make sure that it's not being seen in the camera. So as simple as that. Now let's delete this. Let me just show it to you how I actually created, just to give you more confidence how simple and easy it is. Now I'm just going to scale, bring it up first, scale it. Oh, the origin point is there. I'm not going to change that for now, so that you know how to maneuver it as well. Just scaling it down, making it look something like a closet, which is still too tall. Therefore now we'll bring in the man for the reference. Of course we have the closet next to it as well, but just to show you how I went about it, I'm going to scale this in the Z-axis and just bring it down. Still tall, but you get the rough idea. We'll for a better perspective, and well, you can scale it down, you can make it more thin with the width. all to your liking, but just don't forget to remove the yeah, you get the idea. Now, and just by clicking these, we are just going to bring all of these, not the camera, let's just select it again, and we'll bring all of these straight away into our scene. Oh, because they are parented, therefore they're coming in as well. Nevertheless, so you can individually bring them all and arrange them as to your liking. Of course, this is a big size of a bedroom, 8 by 6 meters. So that's how you get about it. Let's head to our main scene and we'll take it up from there. Or you know what? Let's add in the windows, which will be doing it there as well. This is of course Archimesh. You can import windows from Archimesh as well as you can do that from Archipack. Archipack has better variety, I might say, but the convenience is it's much easier to create holes, which are basically they're gonna cut out the window panes. Now let me just add in auto holes. Now if I slide this window, you can see it's already created. It's the boolean effect, which is cutting out this part, whereas if I just undo this, you see if I slide, there's a wall there. Now if I create the auto hole function, now it's gonna straight away create a cut in that wall from the Windows side. Now of course you can get others as well, things like doors and everything, but now let's use Archipack and see what variety do they have. And these are the thumbnails that were generated, and don't worry, it only needs to be done once. Let's bring in this. You see a lot of dimensions which you can play around with, but the only thing is with this one you need to create a cut before you bring in. So that's what we're doing right now with this cube. We're just going to select this and the wall later, and control minus is going to create a cut in the wall. And let's delete this and bring in a new window, because it just creates issues with we won't be able to change its height and the dimensions once you click somewhere other than the object itself. Let's bring in the window again, the same one, and now you can see the readings, and we're going to play around with them to adjust and fix it in our walls so it fits in better. Now of course 1.1 meters is just too less. We're going to keep adjusting it till it fits in our window. Just checking what other things we can change. For now you get the idea of how you want to go about it. We can also try if I can add in a boolean with this, if possible. Let's see. It does not work, and the best practice is to model a cut in the beginning and accordingly adjust the window or the doors if you're bringing in by Archipack, because the good part about Archipack is you get a variety, but with Archimesh you don't get that much of a variety, actually none. You just get one item of that reference, but it automatically creates the cut, which is not that difficult. You can get it done yourself. Now coming back into our scene, therefore let's render this. I've already added in the lightings and textured the walls as well as the floors. I've added in a carpet, and just give it some time and we have it ready. Now this is the final render which you should see. I've changed the dimensions of the frames. This is something I've added additionally. It's as simple as adding in simple shapes and just adjusting them. This is something which I have done a little bit of an addition by adding in the loops and I've just beveled the lines. Now this is the carpet. No, I believe this is the, I'm going to show it to you actually. Let me just show it to you. Now this is how I've added in the loop cuts, and to keep it straight from the top, first I'm going to bevel this, and then I'm going to add another loop cut that's going to be horizontal. Before, let me undo that because I need to keep it plain from the top. Let's add in that loop cut, bring it up about here so that it stays straight. Now let's select face select. Of course, I did not turn on the shortcut keys. Nevertheless, let's do this, and plus is gonna add in, select those shapes, faces I mean, extrude it out, and as simple as that, that's how I created the back wall board, as to say, of the bed. Now these are the lamps which you've already seen how I brought it in by Archimesh. Lamps, as simple as that. I've changed the shading colors to match with the bed, which is the brownish gray castano, as to say, the color tone. Now these are the colors. I don't know if you can actually see them, but just copy what the readings that you see is going to identically generate that shade for you. Of course, this is for the skirting, which is I've changed, and for the walls I've selected slightly different, which is, you can see the color code from here. Oops, I was trying to zoom in. You can just use this reference, or you can see what values have I inserted here. You're going to get the same thing in your scene as well. Now these are the side tables as well. I've changed slightly their colors. You can see originally their colors are, it's something very similar, but it's more towards the beige side. Let it render out. Okay, now you see it's more towards the beige and brownish tone, and slight variation, but what happened was I tried to keep things in the same color scheme, so to say. Therefore, these are the colors which you can again copy the readings, and now for this is the color which I initially used, but then I changed it because I liked the lighter part to be outside than darker. So as simple as that, just by clicking and with the pipet, I took these color tones and I slightly maybe made them slightly darker. So that's how these colors were selected. You can of course take these readings to get the same shade of the panel from here as well, and same goes for this one. That will generate the exact same thing. Now you will see, of course, that's the closet, which is actually the same color tone as that. Curtains. For curtains, we used another add-on which is called Blender Kit. We have to activate it as well as we have to sign in. What that does is it gives us a lot of free assets. Blender Kit, just sign up or log in, one of these two. If you're new, you're gonna sign up. Once that is done, it'll give you a lot of variety of free materials and models as well as brushes. Of course, just go to models, type in curtain. Let's just go to models, curtain. It's already been there. Now that's the free curtain that I installed. As simple as click, drag and drop. It's gonna orientate itself as on which surface you are bringing the curtain to. At times it acts weird, it doesn't matter. You can just delete that off and make sure that it's how you want it to be. Just rotate this on the z-axis by 90 degrees, and as simple as that, I just placed it right there. As for the curtain, these ones, they were actually imported, yes, from another scene, which will also be added in the description. You can bring in that as well, and you can see the carpet material was also from Blender Kit. Straight away type in carpet, and this is the one material that I've used. Straight away click, drag and drop. As simple as that, it creates this texture. The plant, of course, you already know from the scene. The bag that's there, I just basically moved it about. Let's just move out our reference image. And what is this? Oops. I accidentally added in the curtain twice. Let's just delete that. We don't need a curtain there. Now I'll be showing a camera shortcut which you will really find in handy. First, let's add in a camera, and basically it's how to make a camera the active camera of that scene. Of course, now there are two cameras, and right now the active camera is the one that has the black triangle on the top. That one has a hollow triangle. That means it's not currently active. Therefore, if you press the 0 on numpad, it will not be the one showing you the final scene. Control numpad 0 will make this camera your active camera, and if you can just go in the angle which you want to take the shot, the another shortcut is Control Alt numpad 0 is going to straight away take that active camera to the location which currently the 3D port view is viewing. Therefore, it's a handy shortcut, which the same shortcut that I've used to activate. Let's turn that into an active camera, and now you know how to take the camera in the angle that you wanted straight away. Now we are covering the lights which we are using in the scene. That's the sun. These are the panel lights, I believe. Let's remove the cube for now. Let's hide that away as well. Now the lights which I've used, I'm going to show you what power I've used and the colors which are being emitted from the light, which you can see slightly yellow. If I hide that, you see the difference in the, if I hide that light away. Let's hide this one now and see what difference does that make. See, the basic, that's why they say the light can make or break your scene. Now this is the color which I'm using in for my light, slightly yellowish, and the power is 200 watts for the big one. If you bring it up to 500, maybe that's for something that you might like, but of course it's totally up to your preference. I like it down to 200 watts. And the second one as well, slightly yellowish in color, but power, again, I'm keeping it to 200 watts, which is somewhere the light, you can use it in the blue tone, which will give it a more cool effect, but I'm going to go for the warm yellowish color tone. So if I render the image right now, it's going to take maybe a couple of seconds, and you'll have the Eevee render engine generated scene, because currently the settings have been set on Eevee, which is the real-time engine. It's a fast one. It's a good option for all the options. So the Eevee, you can select from there, and if you turn it into cycles, it's going to take a little while, and basically it might overburden your laptop as well. So best solution is to use Eevee. If your laptop can handle it, go for the cycles, as it will really generate a very much original render. Of course, it's going to take a long time. Even for me, it's going to take a long time. I'm going to fast forward this until you see the final render. Let me just show you how slowly it's processing these little tiles of the render and then retuning, refining them. And this is the final render, which you've already seen. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Toodles.